It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, we are back live on Radio Row, New Orleans, Super Bowl 59. Rothman and Ice and CB at the switches. He's also at the back of the camera on YouTube, so you can check us out there. We will have a cavalcade of guests coming through the next few days. I like to call it sports speed dating. You never know who's going to spin around the table, and then Maddie I'll dispatch you into grabbing a guy around the neck and throwing him in a chair. Good to see you, my man.
It's good to see you, brother. We made it to NOLA, second round of Super Bowl appearances. For me, this is a beautiful thing. You know, we touched down in New Orleans, and I just felt it was right, AR. I had to play some Lil Wayne right out of the gate. So we got the lollipop going. We got the best rapper alive going, because this is the home of Lil Wayne, but more importantly, this is the home of the Super Bowl with Kansas City and Philly in town. And Radio Row is just a beautiful thing. The energy in this building is electric. We got in here yesterday. We set up. We walked over to logistics because somebody stole our chairs.
That's
so
right.
We didn't have chairs right out of the gate. We walked past the ESPN set, and who do you see? You see Michael Penix. You see your boy Justin Jefferson. We get in here today, and it's a who's who again. So I'm glad we're on YouTube because the ambiance is there if you want to check that out, and the vibes are just absolutely tremendous, man. I'm hyped to be back.
All right, let's first thank our headline sponsor, which is Low T Center. We are live from Radio Row because of them, and we're presented by Low T Center. You know they've been reinventing men's health care. You'll hear about that many times over the 3 days, so we thank them, and we urge guys to go get their numbers at Low T Center. We will have tentatively planned, we'll do, and here's the deal. Sometimes what we'll do, we'll have CB like move the camera and shift to like a better view instead of just, what do we have, Fox 29 Philly behind us?
Go Birds.
Exactly, with their backs to us. And so we'll shift the camera when we have some interviews so you'll get to see some of what Radio Row is. We've done tours of this place. It's a little more wide open. We're in the convention center in New Orleans, so we're not far away from the Superdome. It is a wild city. I think this city has hosted the most Super Bowls ever. It's one of those that back in the day was a real treat to go to New Orleans. Such a unique city and all of that. It seems like, from what I'm hearing, is that the tickets are tough now, because not tough to get, but they're tough to sell for as much as they want. Not the good seats. The good seats will go for the people that can afford them. But the get-in price is starting to drop. So you've got a couple factors here, Maddie, in this one. Could it be that you have the Chiefs back here again, the Eagles back here again? Mm-hmm. Does Eagle fan want to take another bite at this apple like you have in front of you, take another bite of that apple? If they came a couple years ago to watch their team lose a heartbreaker, do they do it again against the same team? Do they risk that? And then on the other side, if you're a Chiefs fan and you've been there, done that, you just sit home and bask in the glory of a three-peat. Or do you want to be where history is? And I think that's it for me, is you're a Chiefs fan. And if you were lucky enough to go to a couple, the previous two, then how can you not? First of all, you don't want to risk being the jinx if you don't go. But Kansas City's in a dynasty. It's funny, the first Super Bowl they ever won was down here against my Vikes. They didn't play it. There was no Superdome. They played it at Tulane Stadium, and they beat the Vikes. And so I wonder if part of the Chiefs fatigue, same two teams from a couple years ago, Superdome's bigger than we were at Allegiant in Vegas by about 10 or 15,000, so it's tougher to sell all of those at the price they want to. And the other part is that Vegas just wins. And so you're going there for so much more than a game. And I think New Orleans has a lot to offer, believe me, but it's not Vegas.
There's levels to this, as I like to say. You know, you went to the Dome last year. You saw U2. I went to a WWE show last year. You can do anything and everything you want in Vegas. And like you said, New Orleans is tremendous. Look, I think for a lot of people, myself included, the in-home experience is just top tier. It's really hard to beat, right, when you can just talk about everything that you can do and consume at the house, and especially like for some of these people that have families, right? If you're an Eagles fan, a Chiefs fan, and you got a couple kids, whatever it may be, running up those prices, that ain't cheap. That is not cheap at all. And we've heard for years, you've been to Super Bowls, that it's the energy in the building doesn't hit the same, right? It's a corporate event type of vibe for some of these Super Bowls. I think this is a great Super Bowl that we got. I'm personally excited about seeing these two teams get after because the first game delivered a couple years ago. But it will be interesting to see the energy in the building. I know that place is going to be rocking at halftime, though, with Kendrick Lamar doing his thing, so I can't wait to see that.
Listen, there have been 58 Super Bowls. No team has ever won 3 in a row. The Chiefs have a shot to be the first team in history to do that. Now, be aware that you'll hear that no NFL team has ever won 3 championships in a row. That's untrue. The Packers have. Packers have done it twice. They did it way back when, before any of us remember. And then there were no playoffs. There was a record to determine the champion back in the 20s and 30s. And then they did it again in the 60s. And so then you have the first 2 Super Bowls that they took down. So it's one of those things that certainly the Chiefs are chasing. And all I've heard this week, and I'll continue to hear it, is no one wants to bet against Patrick Mahomes. And you and I thought the same thing when they played Tampa, that he can right all wrongs, that he can fix everything. And he couldn't fix it that night, not against Tampa.
No.
I look at the Eagles as a team that's from top to bottom is built to not only hang in this game, to beat them. But I haven't heard anyone yet that we've talked to that said they're going to win.
You know what else we've heard a lot just being here in the last couple of days is the Eagles may have the better roster, but at the end of the day, the 2 most important positions, that being the head coach and the quarterback, Kansas City has that. And I think that's where a lot of people are going to stick with Kansas City and what they have. Not that Kansas City's roster is not great. Their roster is very, very good as well. That's how they keep getting to this point. But at the end of the day, when you have 15 out there and the confidence that he's infused to their fan base and the respect that he's gained from so many different fans of the sport just around the league, you just know that this team has the ability to deliver, and they're a complete team. We talked about it a lot last year when we were in Vegas. That defensive unit that Kansas City was rolling out a year ago was elite. So the combination of Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo as their defensive coordinator, who's one of the best DCs of his time, with the talent that they have, puts them in a position to win another Super Bowl and go on to three-peat. The thing, though, that Philadelphia comes into this game with is not only a talented squad, but these dudes have belief. They have belief that they can do this. They were knocking on the door a couple years ago. They've been an elite franchise throughout the years, but this window of time that they've been in the last 2 to 3 years, they've been right there in the mix. And their quarterback in Jalen Hurts is a guy that I just truly believe has the utmost confidence in himself, and his demeanor is always cool, calm, and collected, and the dude's not going to be shook by the moment. So I think we're going to be looking at a close game on Sunday night. I can't wait to see these squads get after it.
So outside of the three-peat possibility, and listen, the Chiefs, they're the only team to even get to a third Super Bowl after winning 2 in a row. The other teams that won 2 never got back to a third. So they've already made history just getting here because those teams did not make it. Outside of the Chiefs going for a three-peat, what is your favorite storyline this week?
My favorite storyline outside of that is, will Travis Kelce propose if they win? Will Travis Kelce completely win over the Swifties, AR, if they go on to three-peat?
So you think he'd want to marry her, but only if they win?
I think you have to pull off the proposal with a dub, right? You can't go out there and there's green and white confetti falling when Jalen Hurts holding that trophy and you decide to propose. I don't think that's the move, but that's what I'm interested to see, because at the end of the day, AR, we know love wins. Valentine's Day is right around the corner. If you're Travis Kelce, I'm riding off into the sunset by proposing to Taylor Swift, and then I'm retiring. I thought I saw that he won't retire. I think he and Andy Reid said something to the effect earlier that they will be back, but that is what I'm looking forward to seeing outside of the whole three-peat situation.
Well, if you win 3, how do you not go for 4? How do you not get on that tee box and try to birdie another one?
Well, here's the thing. If I'm Travis Kelce, AR, I got nothing else to prove. My resume is as elite as elite can get for an individual player that played that position. He's probably got some good ball left in him.
Load management, that thing.
But I just think, man, that would be the move for me. Yeah. I'd like to see that. But the on-the-field stuff that we'll get into, man, there's so many good matchups baked into this game. The head coach is going at it. You got one head coach as a Hall of Fame coach. You got a young and up-and-coming head coach that's trying to make a name for himself, and he's been through a lot, right, with how hot his seat was at the time earlier in the season. And so, yeah, man, there's so much to unpack with this game, and I can't wait to get after it.
So my favorite storyline right now is kind of a little bit of a break off the three-peat, and it's more about that all of a sudden the Kansas City Chiefs have turned into the New England Patriots for people overnight. Their only crime is they keep winning. But that has enough NFL fans that have turned against them.
Yeah.
I've heard that many times down here. I'm sick of them. I'm done with them. Mm-hmm. I wonder if it is a little bit of the Kelsey Swift effect that has the off-the-field part of it. That's it, because there really is no reason. They don't have a villain vibe to me, the way the Patriots did with Belichick and Brady. All the stuff that came before, the Spygate, deflating football story.
That was spicier.
They're not a villain.
This is just fatigue. And when you win this much, you organically become a villain. People like to see new movies. People like to see new heroes. And when the same hero comes out on top with the same cast of characters, I think people
don't
just
they
get
like
sick
trilogies,
of it.
Matty?
I don't know.
You said movies.
Listen,
don't they like trilogies?
Some of these trilogies get dicey. Once you get past 2 movies, that's where it can get a little shaky. But I think we've seen this all the time in different sports, right? The same guy keeps winning. The same teams keep winning. People are sick of it.
All right, here's what you won't get sick of. Is the people and the guests that are rolling through here on Radio Row. I will put Matty up against Chris Canty. I know Canty's 6'7" and probably weighs 300 plus, but I'm going to make Matty go at him about Joe Burrow. He'll be on today. We will dive into I'm going to try to track down a Browns beat writer around here to get what's the latest on Myles Garrett in that situation. Solomon Wilcots, our buddy, former Bengal, played in Super Bowl 23. I know it's been 36 years, but I have to ask him what the hell happened against Montana. It's been 36 years. So we'll have him. I am going to effort, Matty. This is going to be a little bit of a reach, but I do want to get after a former GM down here with the draft coming up and with the trade possibilities and whether you want to stockpile picks. So we'll look for a GM as well. And we'll have some all-pros, some oldies but goodies down here. And up next when we come back, because we're just getting started, you mentioned Nick Sirianni. And I'm going to make this analogy. Is he ready for his Ryan Day moment? It feels like that to me. Okay. We are live, Radio Row, Super Bowl 59, Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Getting cold feet? Call Care Heating and Cooling and we'll fix your furnace fast. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Hey, it's Anthony. I got to tell you, when you don't have the support you need, it affects everything. Feet, knees, hips, back, even your mood. I finally went to the Good Feet store, and once I was personally fitted for my arch supports, I felt a ton better. I will never wear another pair of shoes again without sliding in my personally fit Good Feet arch supports. That's because they help me eliminate my foot pain. It's such a good feeling knowing that I can be on my feet and not worrying about I'm going to wake up with low back pain or feel a weakness somewhere. I trust the Good Feet store because for more than 30 years, they've helped thousands of people just like me get back to feeling comfort on a daily basis. They take pleasure in that. And it's their personal 3-step system designed to support, balance, and strengthen your feet that guides them into their ideal position. I'm the proof. I wear them every day, even when I'm biking at the gym. So go in, take the free test walk at the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City or goodfeet.com.
Breaking Never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply.
Your husband is pretty handy to have around. He makes the world's best mac and cheese.
Lunch is ready.
He's in the Tickle Monster Hall of Fame. and he can teach anyone how to throw strikes. But a busted pipe in a basement full of water?
Honey, I think we need a plumber.
Is a little out of his league. That's where a homeowner's policy from Schefter Insurance comes in handy. We'll help get your house back in order and your husband back to what he does best.
Find an agent at shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Anthony Rothman here for Tel-Ohio. Banking with your best interest at heart, at Tel-Ohio Credit Union, you are the priority. Open a checking account with the benefits you deserve, like early direct deposit and local discounts. Find the account that fits you at telohio.org.
The Fan app is about to become your new best friend. Your one-stop shop for all your favorite fan shows. ESPN Columbus and BetQL. Live or on demand, listen on your schedule. Download the 97.1 The Fan app today. It's free. Do it.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Ohio has over 920,000 diabetics. If you are a diabetic, take a step in the right direction by having your feet checked routinely by a podiatric physician, the most qualified doctors to care for your feet. Adding a podiatrist to your healthcare team can help you better manage the effects of diabetes on your feet. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Let's check in on the weather report. Today we are looking at a cloudy day with a high of 35. Tonight we'll be looking at a little bit of freezing rain, switching over to all rain after midnight. A half inch of rain is likely in the metro area by Thursday morning. Most of Thursday will be dry with a high of 58. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice are in New Orleans for some reason. It's certainly not the big football game coming up Sunday.
Sponsored by the Low T Center, reinventing men's health care.
Live from Radio Row, it's Rothman and Ice.
Yes, indeed, we are Rothman and Ice. There are about 200 tables in this place.
Yeah.
And we are sitting at table 97, so they must have known. Here is the menu for today, which I already sampled. Actually, I didn't sample today. I sampled yesterday. Yesterday, Maddie saw me grab a dish of the
pimento cheese, baby.
Spicy pimento cheese and crackers. I missed out on the fried catfish strips.
Okay, that sounds amazing.
Today, it's a crawfish boil, fried shrimp, and for CB, chocolate mayo brownie bites.
Mayo?
That's right.
Chocolate
mayonnaise.
Wait a minute. That combination, that doesn't seem like it goes together.
Oh,
chocolate
I'm sure it'll be
and
great.
mayonnaise?
Not on top like a drizzle or like, I think it's probably.
You want to dip a
it's
brownie?
probably in. No, it's probably built into the brownie.
That's got to be a no for me, dog.
What about the crawfish boil?
CB's giving me the thumbs down, too. You'd be in on that mayo?
You guys
that
are
mayo?
in Nolans. You got to start. I mean, life needs some Louisiana flavor. And so they do have some sort of blue plate real mayonnaise. It's like a big deal down here.
Okay.
I agree with you. I'm not a huge mayo guy anymore.
Yeah.
But
I saw a guy the other day.
I'm going to sample.
I saw a guy the other day eating French fries, chicken fingers, and mayonnaise. And I'm just like, you're built different, big dog. You're built different.
We had some seafood last night. It wasn't bad.
No, it's pretty good, man.
All right, so coming up at 11, I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
I just said our time.
It's going to take time.
Coming up at 12:30 back home, normal spot, Adam Schefter. He won't be here on Radio Row because ESPN somehow sets up a compound somewhere, whether they're on Bourbon Street or somewhere in the quarter.
Yeah.
Or
who knows?
I have no idea.
Because across the room from us, we've got McAfee set. There's another ESPN set over there. But Schefter, Marcus Spears, Dan Orlovsky, those guys are never at Radio Row. They're tucked away somewhere, which I'm sure they probably enjoy.
Howie Roseman is a name that hardcore football fans know, the general manager of the Eagles.
Yeah, man.
And I think that he's gotten a lot of praise from a lot of people. And he just kind of floats around as the greatest architect right now. And can he get another one? Because his draft produced recently Jalen Carter, one of the most dominant dudes on the D-line. He signed Saquon Barkley, which changed everything in the trajectory of the Eagles this year. And he traded for a guy that's been kind of quiet in A.J. Brown, although he caught a big pass in the NFC title game. But when he got him, it was like highway robbery when they got him. So it's kind of easy to respect what Roseman has done with this Eagles team.
I love that you brought him up because not only did he do the things that you mentioned, but he also hit on 2 picks right out of the gate, right? In your first-round pick, you grab Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo. Then you come back in the second round and you draft Cooper DeJean out of Iowa. And those guys have really bolstered that defensive unit because a year ago we saw CB's boy Baker and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers bounce them out of the playoffs because their defense was a mess. Yeah. And so all these guys that Howie Roseman has gathered together, specifically on the defensive side of the ball, has put them in position to win the ultimate prize because we know they got dudes on offense. Even before Saquon came to the party, Dallas Goedert, A.J. Brown, you had Devonta Smith, the former Heisman Trophy winner. Those dudes have been getting busy for a while, but that's the job of a GM. And that's why when you have a difference-making GM, your team has a chance to hold that Lombardi trophy because he's going to hit on picks in the draft, be smart about free agency and how you handle your cap space and all those things. And he's done that. And another big signing for them was Zach Bond. Their linebacker has been an absolute monster this year. He's up for the Defensive Player of the Year award. So just a tremendous offseason for Howie Roseman, and I'm so glad you brought him up because that dude absolutely deserves some flowers.
Here's the reason why I bring him up. I think he has single-handedly saved Nick Sirianni's job with the roster he's given him, even though he could have fired him. They could have. I think that they believed that they could just run it back with him, and there were probably other candidates that would have been better, and so it's interesting that in their window that they kept him. And the reason I brought up the Ryan Day moment is like, you know what happened after Michigan. It seemed like earlier this year Sirianni was toast and arguing with fans or whatever, like that he was toast. But they must have known that he was the guy to still kind of shepherd this team. And the other thing you have to ask, and they were asking this, is did Jalen Hurts want a new head coach? They just paid him a lot of money, and that maybe he deserved a better coach and he didn't want to waste it. And he refused to say he wanted his coach to return and all that. He wasn't going to bat for him, and now here they are. And so we'll hear from Nick Sirianni this week, and Cole has the sound bites to spin, and he did talk about this team being the special one.
It's just not X's and O's. This game is so much more than that. I think what you see from our team is guys that don't want to let each other down, that truly love each other, that are selfless, that are celebrating together. And so just like you do with the fundamentals of football or the execution of a play, you try to do the same thing with the brotherhood, because at the end of the day, it's not the best groups of individuals that wins football games. It's the best teams, and the more parity there is as you go further and down, in the NFL, the more that's important.
I think your comp of Nick Sirianni mirroring what Ryan Day went through is a heck of a call.
If Nick wins it Sunday,
it's a heck of a call, right? Because even if he doesn't, I'm talking about the vibes right now around him. Is he really safe if they don't win this game? Is he really safe if they don't win this game? You had the whole Jalen Hurts, the think pieces that were out there, right? Beat writers writing about, hey, maybe these guys aren't seeing eye to eye. You highlighted the situation where he was getting after Fan. Wasn't there a game this year, questionable call late, where he threw a pass to Saquon? I believe they don't execute. The heat was cranked up.
Saquon
did
drop it.
He did drop it.
It was not
the decision.
But why take the gamble?
Yes, it was the decision that created some static around his name. But if he wins this game in that city, it gives you so much runway, and that's exactly what we just saw with Coach Day. The whole Michigan thing was hovering over him. Can you win the big one? Now, the vibe around Coach Day's name is completely different, and the same could be said for Nick. So I think that's a great comp by you.
Think about this, the other level to it. The level to it is that Ryan Day had to change and adjust after the Michigan game, the philosophy of how they wanted to call the game with Chip. Think about what Nick wasn't doing. He wasn't adjusting at all. Like, they were so obvious. Like, throw more slants to A.J. Brown and run it more with DeAndre Swift. He never made adjustments. He gets Barkley, and things obviously change. And because I think the Eagles just, at a time, were an easy opponent for people to scout and defend. And Jalen certainly has been very good lately, and his knee is holding up. But it's weird. I think Nick has gone through a level of adjustment himself during this window. A lot of pressure. I give him a lot of credit. They're back. If he pulls this off against Mahomes and derails the three-peat and history, then all of a sudden he gets that, as you like to say, the made man feeling. In the NFL, you can't be made forever. But at least at that point, the fans that wanted him gone, and there were thousands, will have to then say, okay, thank you very much.
Buys you time, man.
Yeah.
It buys you time. We talked about Howie Roseman and how he's helped construct this roster. You got to give Nick Sirianni some love, too, because some of the adjustments he made, not only as far as being a head coach with some of the X and O stuff, was I got to make some changes to my coaching staff as well. We're talking about 2 new coordinators for the Philadelphia Eagles this year. So you get Kellen Moore on offense, and then you go out and get the OG and Vic Fangio, who's been around for so long and constructed some good defense in this league for a while. That's another big feather in the cap, I believe, of Nick Sirianni, too, is to get in the lab this offseason and say, okay, you know what, maybe I need to allocate some more responsibilities to some other guys. You get Kellen Moore from Dallas, Vic comes in, gets that defense together, and now here they are 4 quarters away from partying in Philly.
Matty, it's so my comp to Ryan Day rings so true to me only because I'd have to look this up, but I don't think any coach has been more successful in Philly than him. His winning percentage, all of that. It feels like that he is that guy. And maybe you just turn the daily double this year. The Day gets it done after a lot of people wanted him gone. He's not a big game coach. And then all of a sudden, here's Sirianni with his chance. We're going to come back with our guy Adam Schefter next, and we'll ask him, is this the Eagles' time? All we've heard is they have the roster to take down the Chiefs. Can they actually do it on Sunday? You'll find out next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
At Meijer, we work hard to bring more of the good life to your life so you can bring home more perfectly plump and flavorful produce picked for precise freshness, beautifully marbled beyond brag-worthy certified Angus beef, and more must-have money-saving M-Perks rewards. Because saving more on local favorites is good, but bringing home more of what you love in every trip, that's the good life. We do more to make life a good deal better at Meijer.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place. And aspiring comedian.
That's fun. What's your best joke?
All right, 2 windows were hanging out side by side. The first window says, "Sure is a hot day." The other one says, "Ah, a talking window."
That's pretty good, Wilson.
Bet you can't top that one.
Well, at Pella, we don't have the talking windows, but we do have the windows your friends will talk about.
Dang it, that's good.
Get the window that Columbus homeowners rate the leading and most trusted at PellaColumbus.com.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
NFL Playbook with ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Sponsored by Bet365. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
All right, we're back on Radio Row, Rothman and Ice, presented by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care. And we'll be getting you ready for Super Sunday, Chiefs and Eagles. We'll have Schefter here in moments as we connect with him. He's got to be on some balcony in the French Quarter, just kind of reporting from high above the city. We will get into any news that comes out of it. It seems like kind of a Chris Jones isn't talking three-peat. Like they're not. I'm not saying they're avoiding it, but it just doesn't. It hasn't seemed like it's already Wednesday, and they've already done media stuff, and most of it is the pressure. I think on another franchise that didn't have Mahomes, I think the three-peat pressure would be there.
I don't think they feel it.
I don't think this feels like Jordan's Bulls, man. It feels like it's got that almost like a. I'm not saying a foregone conclusion. You and I both expect a really good game.
Absolutely.
But I haven't talked to anybody yet that said, Eagles are getting them.
We were in the room last year with Kelsey, Mahomes, and all the Chiefs players. And these guys are built for this, man. They're absolutely built for this. And how can you not be, right? When you don't get shook by these moments, when you have to go through the process of a Super Bowl week and all the media and just getting pulled in all these different directions. And I think the same could be said on a smaller D, to a lesser degree, with Philadelphia, because they know what this week is about. And I think if you came into this game, let's say if it was the Chiefs in Washington coming into this thing, then I think you could question where their nerves and their mentality would be.
We've got questions. He's got some answers for us. The one and only Adam Schefter in NOLA with us. My man, how you feeling? Early morning today?
Hello there, gentlemen. What's going on?
All good. Tell me where's your compound this week, if you want to release the location.
Well, I'm literally just sitting in my hotel room right now, making calls, working on stories, going through calls for upcoming shows, and doing this today. So that's what I'm doing right now.
All right, good deal. Yeah, we're over at the convention center. It's hopping over here, as you know. Give me a little take on this journey for Jalen Hurts. He was almost an MVP and a Super Bowl MVP a couple seasons ago. He didn't get either one of those. Obviously, he's got a big money contract, and he's been very good. He's been fighting. The knee looked okay, certainly in the NFC title game. Drops in that beautiful pass on that critical play to A.J. Where are you on Hurts this week? Have there been any questions about, it seems like he's pushed aside anything physically, that's not around this week anymore?
No, yeah, it doesn't seem to be an issue. Again, he's past the concussion, or seemingly so. He's past the knee injury. We saw him play in the NFC Championship game. They got an extra week of rest. Look, I think this time of the year, everybody's beaten up, worn down, tired. But when you get to this game and you get an extra week off and you know the stakes that are ahead, the adrenaline rises for everybody. I don't think anybody is too overly concerned that they're hurt or not operating at full strength from the rigors of a long season. I think everybody will be out there Sunday. And, like, when we go into this game, there really aren't any significant injury questions that are looming out there. The Eagles probably going to get back Brandon Graham coming up to torn triceps. He's been on track to play in this game all along. Jalen Hurts is healthy. What are the injuries? I guess the Eagles' offensive line, but I haven't heard much of that even this week, and it seems like both guys are going to be ready to play.
Schefter, one thing that I brought up, and this is just my opinion, is Travis Kelce and what's left for him. As you know, we all know this dude's been one of the best tight ends of all time. What's been your feel on what's left for Travis Kelce beyond this year? If they do three-peat and he really stamps himself as maybe the best tight end of all time, would you expect Travis Kelce to be back, or should we maybe be bracing ourselves for a retirement for 87?
I think that's something that he's going to have to sit back and make a decision on after the season, knowing whatever happens in this game. And I think that, that could certainly impact it either way, right? Do you want to go out on a loss? Do you win, become the first team to three-peat, part of that, and then say, you know what, that's enough for me. I'll go pursue my life in acting, broadcasting, whatever it may be, which he can do so many different things because he is so talented and charismatic. I think that that's something that he's going to have to decide after this game. I don't think there's a decision either way, one way or another. Yes, I'm going to play. No, I'm not. I think, as he should, he'll take time. He'll think. He'll process. He'll mull. And then he'll come to a decision about what he believes is best for him moving forward.
How much did the Myles Garrett thing surprise you? I think we asked you about this a while back, and We didn't think certainly. Listen, the Browns don't want to trade him, so I want to make that very clear, and I think you did to us a while back as well. We never looked at it as much from his point of view, I guess. We didn't expect that he would demand a trade. It wasn't long ago where he said, I think we're closer than some people think we are. So you tell me, this game they're going to play, it doesn't feel like the Browns are they going to call his bluff, or are they going to just meet his request the best way they can for them?
Well, his request is to be traded. It's not contractually driven here. So, that's one of the issues here that we're talking about, right? Like, again, you've got a situation with a guy that it doesn't seem right now that money is going to make happy. That's not what it's about right now for him. And so, we'll see how that plays out. But other guys who've been disgruntled, wanted a trade, it's been about money. But I don't think that's the case here. So, it's all going to be contingent upon how dug in Myles Garrett is, how resolute he is in his decision not to play there again, how much he wants that trade. Is he going to really stick to it, or can they come to him with money and make it happy? Like, we've heard other players demand trades, usually when they've been in unhappy contract situations. Like Lamar Jackson once demanded a trade. Deebo Samuel once demanded a trade. Brandon Ayuk once, no one got traded. Now, those guys wanted new deals, but still, we'll see if the Browns can figure out any way to change Myles Garrett's mind. He seems like he's pretty dug in right now. The Browns seem pretty dug in not trading him, and we'll see where this goes this all season and in the upcoming weeks.
So, Buckeye Nation, Schefter feeling good about the national championship they won just a few weeks ago, but now Ryan Day has some work to do because he loses his defensive coordinator to Penn State and his offensive coordinator, and Chip Kelly is now going back to the National Football League. Schefter, just talk about that deal for Chip Kelly pairing up with Pete Carroll, and is he now the highest paid offensive coordinator in the league?
Chip Kelly is now the highest paid coordinator in the league. Yes, he's kind of reset the salary market there. There's nobody that makes what he does right now. So, yeah, that's a loss for Ohio State, a win for the Raiders. They get him. That works out well for them. Ohio State has to replace Chip Kelly. Ohio State's lost some coaches. Like, that's one of the prices you pay whenever there's success. Just like in the NFL, when a team wins a Super Bowl, a lot of times these teams come after its free agents and coaches. So Ohio State's kind of going through that a little bit right now, and we'll see how they wind up trying to replace Chip Kelly.
Schefter, real quick, just wanted to go back to the Myles Garrett situation. When we, hear a name that's that big and that good at what he does, I think some people's minds, and mine included, can go to, well, there's going to be so many teams that are in on that. Like, is that going to be the case, or do you think it's a smaller amount of teams around the league that are going to try to get Myles Garrett? How do you think that's going to look?
Well, I think everybody would want him, and Cleveland has shown no inclination about dealing him. So until Cleveland says, okay, well, we're going to entertain offers and listen, it's a little bit of a moot point in my mind right now. And we'll see how that plays out. But they've been adamant that they're not going to trade him. That's where they've come from all along. And we'll see if they decide to waver off that in any kind of way.
Anybody calling so far that you've heard? They may not have to answer the phone, but I just want to know if you've heard anybody kind of sniffing around this thing now. There should be many suitors. I don't know what they'll have to give up. We know it's going to be a hefty price, but where are you on where you're going to focus your attention on maybe some teams that would pick up the phone and call?
Well, I think there are probably teams that just, hey, keep us posted if you decide that you want to change the guy. That's it. Like, I don't know that it's anything that, there's no traction to it right now is what I'm saying. None. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that there wouldn't be at a later date.
Where do you we just talked about Howie Roseman and the job he's done with the Eagles, and we talked about the roller coaster ride that Sirianni has been on with, look at this guy. I mean, a lot of fans wanted him out. Things were getting a little weird for him there, and now he's got him in the Super Bowl. Give me your take on where were they on Sirianni? Were they thinking about that he may not be the right guy? Was that close to a decision-making thing for him, or was he always Roseman's guy and he was willing to ride it out?
Well, again, I think they've stood behind him all along, and I think there are times where, he's been a strong coach. Players really like him. There are times he's let his emotions get the best of him, which you can't do that. You got to be a little bit aware. I think he lives from that, learns from that, grows from that, and you go on from that. But again, you got to be smart with some of these things, and that wasn't always the case with him. I think he'd admit that. But by and large, you can't argue with the results that he's produced so far. They've been outstanding. And that's, kind of where he's been operating from, and we'll see whether he can get one more victory. That would obviously be legacy-changing for him and for that franchise.
No doubt. All right, and all the players you talk to, all the analysts you talk to, where's your lean? Who are you picking this Sunday?
Well, I think the Eagles probably have a more talented roster from 1 to 53, but nobody beats the Chiefs. 17 straight one-score wins. Everybody has them on the ropes. Nobody puts them away. I don't pick games. I would just say that, people who pick against the Chiefs do so at their own peril.
Nobody beats the Chiefs. Nobody beats the Wiz. It's you're absolutely right. But it is a rematch of a great game we had a couple years ago. I think it could turn into one of those again. Schefter, have a great week. Stay safe, and we'll be listening. Thanks, man.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
All right, there's Adam Schefter with us on the Brian Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline.
The Columbus Men's Clinic, fellas, is the largest and most experienced men's health practice in Columbus. Did you know that their patients average 3 failures with other places before coming to the Columbus Men's Clinic? If you've been waiting, guys, to treat your low T or ED, or maybe you had a bad experience with yet another clinic that opened quickly and closed, it's time, fellas, to get in there and move forward with your sex life, your career, and gym goals. They specialize in seeing guys who think they are out of luck regain hope that they can be successful in the bedroom and beyond. Seriously, go see the team that for 10 years has been #1 in Ohio for men's health. Stop thinking about it and get in there. Here's what I want you to do. Call 614-300-7400. That's 614-300-7400. Or go online to columbusmensclinic.com to book an appointment today. columbusmensclinic.com.
All right, we'll be back on the row in moments. Don't go anywhere. Speaking of a legacy level up, there is one guy who can join pretty elite company. We'll tell you about that next. Rothman and Ice on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a Shelter Insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV?
What? No way, dude.
Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen. To draft an agent for your team, visit shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Common Man and T-Bone here. Bone, did you know that the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus has over 30 TVs, 2 massive video walls? They even have recliners, a full-service bar and restaurant, a betting counter, and over 30 kiosks?
I did know that, but I also know that you can reserve a table right now at Hollywood Casino Columbus at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook and guarantee your spot and get some game day swag while you do it. Just visit hollywoodcolumbus.com/casino/sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, as Care grew over the years, you had many opportunities to sell Care to one of the big conglomerates that are buying companies all over Central Ohio. So tell our customers why you decided to keep Care in the family.
After talking about Care's values for over 30 years, I couldn't bear the thought of Care becoming the kind of company I was warning our customers about. I know the two of you will continue to treat our customers as I would, with honesty and integrity.
We will, Dad. In 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. And everybody's had these pains, these little nicks, these things that you maybe had an injury when you were younger and you thought it went away. And then all of a sudden as you get old, it starts to creep back. Doing everything, walking up the stairs, doing your favorite activities, golf, skiing, whatever it might be, the summer, the spring, the winter, it hurts. Hey, do not deal with it any longer. The hip, the knee, the shoulder, the back, whatever it is, there's good news. Go to QC Kinetics. They're groundbreaking treatments for that arthritis pain. They're going to make you feel better. The long-term relief, it's now possible. They're right here in Columbus under the leadership of Dr. Ray Tesner, founder of Grant Sport Medicine and a classically trained orthopedic surgeon. Don't wait. Make the call today. My dad and I did. His knee's starting to feel better. My knee feels better. They've got PRP treatments. They can change your life. I'm telling you right now. So go to qckinetics.com/Columbus for your free consultation or give them a call at 380-208-4544. It's not going to go away on its own. They've got 2 offices in Dublin and Gahanna, so check them out.
Morning Juice.
Justin Fry, we need to fire this guy. This offensive line is... Dude, the offensive line is the reason they won the national championship because of what they were able to do and how they were able to play.
Morning Juice is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Weekday mornings at 6. The Fan.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Carpenter Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric, and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Rothman and Ice are in New Orleans for the big football game that we're not legally allowed to say the name of. They're having more fun than Emeril Lagasse sucking heads off some fat crawdads. I guarantee.
Sponsored by Low T Center, reinventing men's health care.
Here's Rothman and Ice.
Absolutely, we are Rothman and Ice, and we are presented by Low T Center here at Radio Row. And I will tell you that Low T Center is my place. I went to go get my numbers. With the numbers, there's power. You got to get educated on it. If you're not feeling the way you think you should be feeling, and you're a guy out there, just book it. Go to lowtcenter.com. Great people, experts for over a decade. They've been doing this. And the key to Low T Center, and I've said this before, a lot of people believe that you go in there, you'll see a lot of these places that start at, $129 a month. It's standard dosage. They're not going to optimize a plan for you. Low T Center will optimize and personalize the plan. They test more often. They do more for you. And that's why you can trust them. Low T Center is the place, and their physicians will help you get back to feeling your best with testosterone replacement therapy. But it's important to get your numbers so you know where you land on that scale. So if you gain some weight, you're not as motivated, you just don't feel as fresh throughout the day, and you're a guy, yeah, you could chalk it up to aging. We can all do that, but go in and find out and see where you land. And once you get there, you'll see why they're different. And they'll offer, if you're a patient already, if I'm talking to one of you guys that knows this, you'll get a $150 referral credit for every new patient that you refer. So spread the word. And you can also go in there and get your health evaluated, for treatment for prescription GLP-1 weight loss medications. So if you're a guy, you've put off the doctor and just feel like it's time because you've heard me over and over tell you about it, just do it. lowtcenter.com. Book it today, lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care. All right, their recruiting continues, and I just spotted a Browns beat writer down there that I'll go wrangle in maybe at the top of the hour, Maddie, so we can really dive into the Myles Garrett situation and see who's going to call who's bluff in that situation. I brought up legacy, and the guy that we haven't mentioned because it just seems like it's just cemented there and how great he is is Andy Reid, and he has a chance to elevate his legacy. We talk about Kelsey, whether he'll hang it up. Will Reid hang it up? We don't know. This would be Reid's 4th Lombardi. 4th. Which means that only Chuck Noll and Bill Belichick have ever won 4 Super Bowls as a coach. And he's also considered one of the best of all time. This would clearly cement the legacy. It already is kind of there. But if he wins again on this stage, now he has Mahomes. This is a Phil Jackson with Jordan. It's got that feel to it. But I don't see anybody talking that way, like, well, he's got Mahomes, he's supposed to win. I don't hear that.
No, not at all. I think there's a lot of respect put on the name of Andy Reid, and rightfully so, because Andy Reid, before he got Patrick Mahomes, showed the football world that he can put his team in position to get into the playoffs and make some noise. We saw it in Philly with Donovan McNabb, Deshaun Jackson, that crew of players. And when Mahomes was there and he was drafted, it was the Alex Smith show, and the Chiefs were still putting out a good product. That's what's scary about Andy Reid and this Chiefs team, is that when you give them this much time to prepare for this game, he's going to find a way to get after your defense. And that chess match in this one is going to be an absolute banger, right? Because you got Vic Fangio, the DC of the Eagles, who's been on the block for a hot minute, and then Andy Reid dialing up the plays, trying to get after Vic Fangio. That's a great coaching matchup baked within this game that I cannot wait to see unfold. And so for Andy Reid, man, this is a dude that I think looks at Patrick Mahomes and says, I just want to keep riding with this guy. I'd be surprised if he hangs it up, because look at what just happened this offseason. We saw Bill Belichick at his age come back to the coaching world, and I know that's at the collegiate level. Pete Carroll was gone for, what, a year? And he's north of 70 years old. And he said, I haven't had enough. And those guys aren't in the position, or weren't in the position before they walked away, that Andy Reid is in. And it's not only Mahomes. You look at their roster, it's not an old roster. That's the other thing. This isn't just a Mahomes thing. That's the most important position, and we get that. But you look at what their GM has done and how they've constructed this roster, this Chiefs team, they ain't going anywhere. And if I'm Andy Reid, I'm riding this thing out until you got to roll me out there on a wheelchair.
Well, first of all, I know you wanted Pete Carroll to come back because you wanted to watch him jump on that gum some more on the sidelines. I agree with you with Mahomes. If he wins this one and gets to 4, then he'll know that only Tom Brady has more at that point, right, at 7. So if Bradshaw and Montana both, I'm old school, both have 4 as well, but the focus this week will be on Mahomes, who did not have a great season, statistically, did not have MVP-type numbers, but he had MVP-like stuff at times. He always will. And I think that's the weirdest part. And I'm not going to flip-flop on you. I told you earlier this season, they looked so beatable to me that I thought there was value on other teams. That the Chiefs were still right there. I'm like, don't take advantage of the 3.5 to 1 and all that. Go get value because the Chiefs look beatable. And I've been wrong. They've been on the ropes, like Schefter said. They've won, 17 consecutive one-score games? How can you not believe that on Super Sunday, if you're in a tight game, that they're the team that's going to come out?
And think about, specifically for the division that we talk about so much, 2 of the games that we saw that involved the Ravens and the Bengals, both in Kansas City this year.
Yeah.
Week 1, you had the Isaiah Likely toe that was on the line. That goes their way. I think it was maybe week 3, whatever it was, against Cincinnati. Bengal fans are sick because of that PI call at the end of the game, and they were right there. So things
I think was.
It was, and I agree. Yeah. So some things have gone their way in the forms of that Ravens and Bengals game, but some of these games, too, they have won, and you cannot just continue to give them chance after chance because they'll take advantage.
Houston could have hung with them.
They were there.
And they just gave it away.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing the Eagles, who have been there a couple years ago, might not feel the same effect of not being able to take him down.
You mentioned Mahomes and how the last couple of seasons, the dude hasn't really lit up the world. And I think that's credit to how complete their team is. And you can have Mahomes deliver in a couple moments throughout the game, which we know he's going to do. But the defense, led by a Hall of Fame talent in Chris Jones, and you got these guys on the outside and McDuffie, and just on every level of this team, even their kicker has been really good. They check every single box, and they play complementary football. So you can have Mahomes last year, have all these wide receivers dropping all these passes, and the defense says, Pat, you know what? We got you, big dog. Don't even worry about it. We're going to continue to get you the ball back And that's why this dynasty that they've created is exactly that. It is a dynasty that they've built that's so strong because their GM and Brett Veach and their ownership group have done their job and put things in order the way it's supposed to be.
Matty, he's won the last 2 playoff games. He's won throwing for less than 250.
There you go.
He threw for less than 180 in the game against Houston, and they won the game. He makes the throws when he has to make them, and everybody fears that. All right, when we come back, we'll enter into our second hour. I am going to tentatively promise you a former running back great. I am going to promise you a former Bengal who's played in a Super Bowl. And then up next, we'll wrangle in Mary Kay Cabot, who is on the case for Myles Garrett, and we'll get her take. She is the Browns beat writer for Cleveland.com. That is next. We are getting you ready for the big game live from Radio Row. We are in New Orleans. Rothman and Ice is presented by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare right here on The Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
No matter where you are, Coughlin is there, in store or online. CoughlinCars.com. 13 new car brands, over 1,000 pre-owned vehicles, 16 convenient locations for sales, service, and parts, plus 4 state-of-the-art collision centers. CoughlinCars.com. Shop locally owned, CoughlinCars.com. Coughlin has the car for you. Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Giant Eagle is making it easy to surround yourself with savings with new low prices on hundreds of your favorite produce items like pineapples, avocados, navel oranges, and lettuce at your neighborhood Giant Eagle.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
I need a small order of sheet metal to repair something in the shop. It's not much, but can you help me out?
At Metal Supermarkets, no order is too small.
Wait, really?
Yep.
What about small home projects?
Yep.
For a car I'm working on?
Yep.
Any kind of metal?
Yep.
Cut to size?
Yep.
With no minimum order?
Yep.
How about 1,000 cut pieces of aluminum flat bar?
Yep. Choose from over 8,000 types, shapes, and grades of metal in any quantity you need. And yes, we're serious. Any metal, any size, ready fast. Locally owned on Wilson Road.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio.
They're trained. They're fired up.
Let's do it.
When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
The New Year's celebration is come and gone, but my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin are still offering those great deals. Rich is sticking with rates starting as low as 0% and leases starting from only $249 a month. Test drive the Prologue, the new all-electric SUV from Honda. And how about the very popular CR-V LX all-wheel drive? A 25 lease is only $349 a month for 36 months with $19.99 down. See the dealer for all these amazing details. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Some things you wouldn't mind being stuck with, like a huge inheritance. But a phone that has to be plugged in just right so it charges is not one of those things. Switch to Verizon and we'll pay off your old phone up to $800 via prepaid MasterCard for a new one on us. Just trade in any phone from our top brands with select unlimited plans. $829.99 purchase with new smartphone line on select unlimited plans. Minimum $90 per month with auto pay plus taxes and fees for 36 months required. Less $830 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Trade-in terms apply. Payoff phone requires smartphone purchase and port-in with new smartphone line on select plan. Must provide most recent bill showing payoff amount of eligible phone. Additional terms apply.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Cole Bartimus. The Blue Jackets lost a close one in Buffalo last night, 3-2. Alex Tuck scored 2 of Buffalo's 3 goals, and the 1 goal he didn't score, he still got an assist. Even though there isn't much good news to share regarding last night's game, find a time this evening to go look up the video of Kent Johnson's no-look goal. It was sick. And we got a huge evening for the Buckeye women's basketball team. Number 8 Ohio State at number 1 UCLA. 20-1 versus 21-0. 9:30 on Peacock. And if that isn't enough for you, the Buckeyes are staying out in Los Angeles all week long because on Saturday they're playing 7th-ranked USC, who is 19-2. That Saturday evening game will be at 9 o'clock on Fox. Both of those games can be heard live over on 1460. This update is brought to you by BMI Federal Credit Union. You can enjoy rates as low as 9.90% APR with the Visa Platinum Credit Card. Apply at bmifcu.org/Visa. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Radio Row is full of the most pathetic, publicity-hungry has-beens in the sports world. That's why Rothman and Ice fit right in.
Sponsored by Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Live from New Orleans, it's Rothman and Ice.
Indeed, we are back on Radio Row, Super Bowl 59. And if the offseason wasn't crazy enough for the Browns holding the number 2 pick, maybe they got to find a bridge quarterback, maybe try to convince some other contract Conklin. They've got some other decisions to make. And then out of nowhere, Myles Garrett says, you know what, I've had enough of Cleveland and I want out. Mary Kay Cabot, the longtime beat writer for the Browns, is with us. And it's so good to have you, Cleveland.com, and WKYC, and everything else you do up there. So good to see you.
Yeah, it's great to be here. This is really getting hopping here on Radio Row today. Each day it gets more and more crowded.
How long have you been covering the Browns?
Oh, gosh, I've lost track, but I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 years.
Wonderful. Congrats. It's a great run, long run. It's always exciting because the fan base is win or lose, they're always there. Or as Bobby used to say, win or lose, they booze. They do that, too, in the Muni lot. Let me ask you about where the Myles Garrett shock factor was for you. Did you kind of have an inkling that maybe this was going to happen eventually, that he wouldn't ride this out?
Well, let me back up to December 20th. I asked Myles Garrett in a press conference, his weekly press conference on a Friday in Berea, why wouldn't you want to go somewhere else and have a chance to win? Here they were coming off of, at that time, they were 3-13 or something. And he said, I might want to. Unless they can show me a blueprint for winning, I might want out. So we kind of knew from that moment on that something wasn't right and that he was at least contemplating asking to be traded. So, but then you fast forward a little bit, and it seemed like the waters had calmed some. He had said on Hard Knocks that we're closer than some people think. It just seemed like things were going in the right direction. Then I talked to Andrew Berry at the Senior Bowl last week, And he reiterated that we are not trading Myles Garrett, not even if someone offers 2 first-round picks. He was asked that hypothetical question. And so he said at that time they have no plans of trading him. So here we are. Yes, I was very surprised when he actually made the request because it seemed like it was trending in the other direction. So now here we are, and we'll have to see where this is going to go.
Mary, I want to go back to what you mentioned with Myles, and you use the word blueprint. Do you have a feel on what you think Myles wanted to hear or see, maybe on paper or whatever that looks like, as far as where the franchise was going? Did you ever get that from him?
Well, he did mention that he wanted a lot of the best players back, and he also talked about wanting a good quarterback. I mean, that's obviously the number one thing that they have to do. So he wanted to see those things, and maybe just in the translation of these conversations, something just didn't meet to his satisfaction. We'll have to see about that. I think he's going to be running around here a little bit today on Radio Row, and maybe we'll actually hear a little bit more about what he wants.
Is there a chance to rescue it?
Yes. The Browns have no intention of trading him.
Well, yes, but he may not have any intention of wanting to stay, which he obviously says he doesn't. So what, they call his bluff, or they give him something he can't refuse? How do they win him back in your mind?
Well, at the end of the season, he made it clear that he wants an extension. And I asked Andrew Berry about that at the Senior Bowl, and he said, we are open to the extension. So, I mean, if you remember, if you just read the room a little bit and you look back to last season, Lamar Jackson asked to be